It's pretty common for people to be afraid of failure. That can be when you're working on your game, you've got a new game idea, you're working on a feature, you're making a social media post. People are afraid to fail, but failure isn't actually all that scary. A lot of times there's little to no consequence when you fail, and it gives you an excellent opportunity to learn. There's a pretty common saying in the startup world that is to fail fast, and that's all about embracing failure as a way to learn what your users want, how you can improve your product, and how you can eventually make a product that's going to sell really well in the market. And I think the same thing applies to games. So you really should not be afraid to make a bad game. It really doesn't matter that much at the end of the day. You can always make another game. You learn from that first one, you keep moving. You can even take that failed game and use it to your advantage by learning what you did wrong and learning what you can improve. That could be nothing about the game itself. It could be your marketing strategy. It could be you made a game in a genre that isn't very popular. At the end of the day, that's a learning opportunity for you, and you can make better games over time if you embrace failure. The first thing I want to say about that is that a lot of people don't even start because they're afraid to fail. And by default, because they didn't start, they already failed. They guaranteed failure. So they had no way that they could possibly have succeeded because they never started in the first place. They also never learned anything. And that is the worst kind of failure. In fact, that's probably the only kind of failure you should be afraid of, is when you fail and you don't learn. And in my opinion, not trying because you're afraid of failure is one of the worst things that you can do as a person trying to build new games and trying to build new products. Because you've cut yourself off before you've ever had a chance to succeed or ever had a chance to learn anything, and you don't get anywhere. Because at the end of the day, failure should be your tool. It should be the way that you learn. You should look for ways that you can fail quickly so that you can learn what to do better and make better games in the future and keep moving forward and keep that momentum behind you. This can especially be important for people that are just starting out and they don't know much about the domain. They don't have a background in it. They may be scared to even try. And I'm saying don't care. Just move forward and try it, and you're going to learn. The only way you're going to improve is by failing and learning from those failures. Another reason that I've been afraid of failure and I've seen other people be afraid of failure is that they think other people are going to hate them. And they're right, they will. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you do, someone will hate you. It always happens. Go look on any YouTube channel, anywhere, and I guarantee you, even if they're incredibly popular YouTubers, there's hate comments all the way down there. Don't be afraid of that. Don't worry about those people. They're probably not your customers anyway, so it's really not that important. Let's use social media as an example here, because I think that can help with the problem because it condenses the time frame down for feedback. So think about a social media post. You're afraid to make a post, you make it anyway, and it totally bombs. It is the worst social media post ever, and no one sees it. Guess what? No one saw it. It didn't matter at all. So just make another one. And I think the same kind of mentality can apply, like, even if you make a bad game. If you make a bad game and it goes out on Steam, well, guess what? No one really played it. You didn't make any sales. No one played it. So what did it matter? Now, in some ways, because no one played it, you didn't learn a lot from it maybe, but maybe you learned in the process, and that's all about how you can look at your failure in a positive light and look at it as a growth tool and say, oh, nobody played my game. Why did that happen? And you can do the same thing about that social media post example that I mentioned. Oh, nobody viewed my post. Why did that happen? Go look at other games. Go look at other posts that get a lot of attention and see what they're doing and compare that to what you did. And you can learn from that and build up and try again next time to see what happens then. And so it's all this feedback loop of trying something, failing at it, learning from it, trying it again, probably failing at it again, and getting better and better and better each time. One other thing about that feeling that people will not like what you do is you're probably your worst hater at the end of the day. Odds are you are more critical about yourself than anyone else is. I know a lot of people that I've talked to are this way. Even people that can seem like they're incredibly confident often have some underlying self-doubt that they have dealt with in some way. And they've kind of found a way to get over that and move forward, which helps them appear more confident. People are a lot more likely to support you in what you're doing than you think they might be. So go ahead, get that out there, fail. You'll find the people that are there because they'll be attracted to what you're doing already, and that's where you really can learn. Those are the people that really matter for your game. Maybe the most important thing about embracing failure is to not give up. At the end of the day, as long as you don't give up, you don't fail. You may have small road bumps along the way, you have small failures that you learn from, but as long as you don't give up and you keep moving forward, eventually you're going to find success. So in that way, it's about trusting the process, trusting that process of iteratively failing, learning, making better things to get to ultimately something that is successful. Keep that in mind if you're afraid of failure when starting your project. Keep moving forward. Even if you do fail, learn from that. Keep moving forward. Eventually we'll get there and find success. My name is Kyle. I do videos like this 2 times per week. Give me a subscribe if you like this kind of thing. I'd love to hear about ways that you have failed and learn from that failure. So leave those right down in the comments too, because it can help you a lot if you talk about that, because you'll learn things from other people and you'll find that you're not alone in your failure. That's all I've got for today, so I will see you next time.